like me, when preparing for this video, you went to Bing, search for Google, and then search for cloud portfolio projects, and then the list only included portfolio projects for software engineers, then this video is for you, because we're going to talk about cloud portfolio projects for IT administrators. Okay, so let's make something clear. The fact that it's for IT administrators does not mean there's not going to be any code involved. It just means there won't be any application development. All right, before we start, here are a few things that make a good cloud project. Number one, it's something that you use on a regular basis, so this way it gets updated regularly as opposed to when you need a job. Number two, it's properly documented, so this way somebody can know why you did what you did and how you did it, and can reproduce the work that you did. Number three, it's challenging to you. Don't make something that is just a few clicks worth of work, right? Make something challenging that is the same type of thing that you would be assigned during a job. All right, so the first project you should do is put your resume in the cloud. Create a storage account or S3 bucket and create your resume. Now, you would have to write some HTML, but that's not a big deal because it's not a huge amount of code. You can also use a lot of what you see is what you get tools to write the code, the HTML code for your project. And so that part is easy. Put your education, your work experience, your hobbies, an introduction, and things like that. Now, take it to the next level and put either a content delivery network or CloudFront if you're using AWS, and put your own domain, because it will help your brand, it will help you, it will show that you can do things that are a little bit more involved than just the basic of deploying resources, and you can use that domain for many other projects. Now, one thing I want you to have in the backend is a little serverless function, Lambda function, Azure function, and count how many visitors you have on your web page. So basically, send that request to your function, increment the counter by 1, store that in the database, and then return the new number to the front end. So just a very basic, it's not a lot of code. If you try it, you'll know that it's not a lot of code. And I will put a link to the original challenge below, because it's not my original challenge. So I'll put a link down below with the full write-up of the challenge, and you should do it yourself. Number two, deploy a blog. Yes, there are free tools out there that help you blog, and I highly recommend you use them. But another thing you can do is deploy your own WordPress in the cloud. I know that Azure and AWS have very easy ways of doing that. It's not a huge challenge. So if you want to challenge yourself even more, try to figure out how to do it from scratch. And I highly recommend you do that, because one, you will have all your write-ups in one place under your domain that you deployed, that you know how to speak to in terms of experience, right? You know how to deploy WordPress in the cloud, you know how to deploy resources. So I highly recommend you do that, and you use that blog to document your journey, to document your resume, to document all your challenges, all your projects that you've done. And that would be a nice single place for your online brand. And if you use that on a regular basis, it could actually make you money in the end, because blogging can bring you money. So it might be a bit pricier than a lot of other projects, but it also has the potential to bring you money. So project number 3, you can host your own code repository in the cloud. You can deploy what's called GitLab for free. Now, the resources are not free. GitLab is. You can deploy GitLab for free in your own cloud and have everything branded to you and all your code, and you can speak to that too. A lot of people use GitHub, and it's very practical because everybody can sign in. But if you have your own code repository and you can manage your own code, then that's a little plus for you to have. So deploy your own code repository in the cloud, and that is a nice little project. Project number 4, you can deploy labs. So if you want to go to infrastructure as code, host deployment labs. So for example, if you go through Microsoft Learn, you will have to deploy some resources. Well, what would be nice is if you did a code repository that allows people to easily deploy those resources, to create test labs, to create test environments that they can use, and showcase your labs, your little deployments, and document how they're done. Ideally, you would also document how things are done, how you get there, and help others get there too, and not just put the code. Project number 5. So clouds have a lot of services that are beyond the basic infrastructure. And those services have software development kit. And one thing that I find useful personally that I would love to see and that maybe I'll actually do is how-tos. How to use those software development kits, little starter kits, little examples that are directly working. So try to pick a service. Pick, I don't know, right now I'm obsessed with cognitive services in Azure. Pick one and then deploy it. How do you do a speech to text with a microphone? How do you do speech to text with a file? OCR, reading text. How do you use that? And all that stuff. So create small little demos. Obviously, do not put your own keys in there, okay? But put some demos. So that means you don't have to do the whole application development, but at least you can show people who are interested in it how to use those software development kit. And quickly, because it's worth mentioning, quickly, number 6, do software development projects. Just like the ones you find on Google when you search for cloud portfolio projects, they're good projects. They're not really catered towards cloud administrators, but they are good projects. And if you can do them, it will bring you a lot of brownie points. So do them. I highly recommend you work on those. They're worth doing. They're just more advanced in terms of coding and writing the code. All right, so if you don't mind, could do me a huge favor at the bottom in the comments. When you do any of those projects, leave a link in the comments so that future people who look at this video can find projects that you have done and they can get inspiration beyond just this video. So put your projects down below. I'll put some of mine down below and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.